In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're still working on that. My fingers probably look crusty. Right now, I have on a Four Walkie Classic representing Val Phillips and the Milwaukee Youth NAACP chapter and what they did for fair housing and what housing looks like in Milwaukee today. Yes, it's still segregated. However, people like Val Phillips, my aunt Shirley, Dr. Shirley Butler, my grandmother, Carol Carmen Smith, Father Grape. There's so many people, so many people that played a part in Milwaukee having such a rich history in black ass shit. It ain't just cows and cheese up there, nigga. And I'm learning that Milwaukee gets a lot of hate. It's Milwaukee. Anyway, welcome to FernGulli Fae TV. This is the first episode, low key a dry run of Black history, self actualizations, and just shit that I come across during my time of learning, my week, my life, all those things that I want to give y'all. Why? Because I feel like spilling in a way that's like semi educational, but maybe not all the way. I have on headphones right now because I want to be able to listen to music while I record. It allows me to be as relaxed as possible. It sucks because y'all can't jam with me. Maybe I'll get into a platform where I can play the music that I like to listen to while also going over Black history and self actualizations. And as a part of my learning is heavily connected to music, like heavily connected to music. I don't do shit without music, but I digress. Speaking of, the song of the day is Bunny Hop by The Entourage. Shout out to my cousin Nikki. I have a fond memory of learning how to do the bunny hop in my godmother's living room during one of our family sleepovers. I've been the coolest bitch ever since. So, yeah, shout out to Bunny Hop. Shout out to Nikki. Shout out to The Entourage. I did a bunny hop. I worry about Josephine. Shout out to Isaiah Rashid. What you said. Homage to the entourage and the bunny hop. Come through about 4 or 5 hoes down to fight anything at the door. They nasty in this song though. I'm so glad I got my own. I ain't worried about Josephine. Anyway, cause y'all can't jam with me, which sucks for y'all. But I digress. Song of the day is Bunny Hop by the Entourage. Word of the day is apparatus. Ooh, where did I learn apparatus? Oh, I was reading about Franz Fanon. I was reading about an article. I have to pull up that article actually. It was on Instagram. It was like a infographic. But what I do is when I'm doom scrolling, because I got a bad habit of that shit. What I do when I'm doom scrolling is I at least read what it is that's in front of me. If that way I know what I'm taking in instead of just Anyway, it was Frantz Fanon. It was his rightful critique on power and basically where do we go after that. Oh, don't get me to lying. But all I know is I heard about the word apparatus, which is a tool, if I'm not mistaken, or it can be seen as okay, apparatus. Let me make sure I'm saying it right. Apparatus is the technical equipment or machinery needed for a particular activity or purpose, a complex structure within an organization or a system. So I think the passage that I came across was asking how do we use Fanon's understanding to create an apparatus or Fanon's apparatus and how it would actually fit in today's terms. And from my understanding of Fanon, we won't even understand that purpose until we get rid of like some psychological damage that has been done to us by others. So we got to kind of undo ourselves of all that stuff before we can even form a purpose, a apparatus. Anyway, don't get me to lying. Word of the day is apparatus. I got my desk over here. What it is am I showing y'all armpit hair? I probably am. Ask me if I give a fuck. Might be too soon to be cussing to YouTube. um, I have this set up because I moved and I don't know. I don't know what the next setup is going to be. My old place, I had two desks, I had a bookshelf, I had this, I had that. And I had 2 years in that place and barely got one video done. So I'm happy to be as creative as I am in this new space, but I do have to figure out a new way to set up a set design for my YouTube channel and figure out a way to be as comfortable and tactical and utilize the space given to me to create an apparatus to better film uh YouTube videos. Ooh. Book of the day or book that I am reading, which I've been reading for a long time now, please don't judge me, is Sex Workers, Psychics, and Number Runners by LaShawn Harris. It goes over the underground economy and how people who partook in informal, unformal labor made a way for themselves and how they dealt with societal critique and things of that nature. I went into this book because I'm a borderline woo woo lady. And so when I heard about a scholarly critique on psychics and sex workers and Black women and just in general, I was like, oh yeah, let me get into that. But I am leaving this book with such an understanding of how people choose untraditional ways to make money without societal approval, how a lot of Southerners really paved the way during Harlem Renaissance, basically from the 1920s, how a lot of Black Southerners paved the way for what we know is like everyday living today, or what is modern today, in the 1920s and the 1930s. I really like this book. It's just teach me about how different Black life was and is in the different aspects of Black life. I am a crusader against the English language because I have a hard time pronouncing words sometimes. And I do, when I'm reading and learning, I do take my time out to research words, hear the pronunciation of them, and practice them and move forward. But most times I am freeballing it. And so if I do get some shit wrong, correct me politely in the comments. I am never above correction. Anyway, on my free time, again, doom scrolling gets the best of me. And I'm realizing that I have more hours in a day to do learning and moving of the body than I say I do. Therefore, I actually need to do it. And since 2024, I have been browsing the website of the African American Intellectual History Society. I actually found this website when I was arguing with a friend about my current disdain for Juneteenth celebrations. And we were like, well, fuck it. Let's look up what Juneteenth basically is really about. This is where you learn about Galveston, Texas, and who was the last people to find out about the emancipation. This is why I got beef with Abraham Lincoln too, by the way, because that man is not, anyway. I got beef with Abe Lincoln. I got beef with FDR because while these people did things to help, I got beef with Nixon and Reagan, of course, but while people like FDR and Abe Lincoln did things to help the betterment of Black life, it was never solely for the betterment of Black life. It was more like, I think this is going to help my campaign. And it did. It did. But I digress. I was arguing with a friend about my disdain for celebration of Juneteenth. We got into what Juneteenth is anyway. And from there, I have been on the African American Intellectual History Society web browser. It was my best friend when I worked third shift. I would read an article every day. There, I learned about Yolanda Du Bois and her experience at summer camp and just Black people in general experience with summer camp. I used to be a summer camp counselor, so I also learned about Black people's involvement in administrative policies literally since the emancipation. Since niggas had a say so, a semi of a say so, we have been involved in politics more than we'll ever really say. Who else did I learn? Oh, I learned about Molly Moon, the socialite who I mean, she brought white people in the room, wealthy black entertainers, working class people, all these people in a room under the guise of like fun and galas and banquets and things like that. But behind the scenes, they were fundraising for the civil rights movement. She used her social influence as a way to help. I'm trying to find ways in how I can be of service. And reading about folks like Molly Moon is like, okay, if well shit, I live a pseudo bourgeoisie life, but if I'm gonna be black and bougie, then I need to make sure that I am also helping those who are next to me. My bitches is bad and bougie. Oh God. Take me back. That was college days. Anyway, today's article on the African American Intellectual History Society was about Dr. Jarvis C. McInnes. Dr. Jarvis C. McInnes wrote Afterlives of the Plantation, Plotting Agrarian Futures in the Global Black South. Let me make sure that I'm saying agrarian right. Oh, I am. Agrarian. Agrarian means related to cultivated land or the cultivation of land, a person who advocates a redistribution of land property, especially as a part of so. Oh, okay. You know what? Booker T. Washington was an agrarian. Hell yeah. Huh. Booker T. Washington was an agrarian, full stop. Dr. Jarvis C. McInnes wrote Afterlives of the Plantation, Plotting Agrarian Futures in the Global Black South. This book is said to challenge the views of Black modernity, which in my brain sounds weird. My brain wants to say modernity, something, but modernity, okay, fuck it. Modernity makes sense. And modernity means the quality or condition of being modern, a modern way of thinking, working, contemporariness. All right, we done learned 3 new words today. I was stuck on this article because the mention of Booker T. Washington being an accidental influence of the book. It seems like Dr. McInnes wanted to stay away from the Tuskegee Institute as well as Booker T. Washington to drive a point home. However, the more research that Dr. McInnes did, the more they came back to Booker T. Washington and Tuskegee Institute and the emphasis on agriculture and how it has evolved with Black life and its staple in Black life. In my brain, when I think about Booker T. Washington, I think about how he did not play about niggas having money in their pockets and using their own hands to get said money in said pockets. Um, Also, did not play about the autonomy on where one places their labor. Like Frederick Douglass, same, but different. In the article, it is also mentioned how Black Southerners' contribution to the progression of Black life outside of being bodies on the front line, something I added, is highlighted all throughout the book. It is what, again, this is what I'm told by the article. While editing, I realized that I never mentioned the author of the article, which is Robert Greene II. He is also the president of the African American Intellectual History Society. So I'm going to insert a clip. Y'all go give him his props too. This reminds me of the book that I'm reading, Sex Workers, Psychics, and Number Runners by LaShawn Harris. This talks about how during the 1920s and the 1930s, a lot of Black Southerners immediately after Black Southerners migrated, how they decided to be creative and make businesses and use all these untraditional ways to make money because one, they were still they weren't a part of the more elite Black class, and some of their behaviors are still ostracized. They might not have had the connections in the community because they were fresh to New York City, fresh to Harlem, fresh to this northern area. So they had to be very creative in how they made that money. Dr. McInnes is also a Mississippian who got their post grad degree in New York. So this doctor could also talk to their experiences during this current time period with being a Black Southerner, moving to New York City, and having to adapt modernity. So yeah, basically, I'm trying to link Black Southerners have always had an influence on what's to be considered modern, even if that hasn't been recognized. The South got something to say, or whatever Outkast said. I didn't know that Booker T. Washington had, oh, in the article, it mentioned that Booker T. Washington had a global influence on folks in Puerto Rico, in Haiti, in Cuba, and Jamaica, which I didn't know. I thought, like, I don't know. I like that though. It reminds me of the boys. It reminds me of global. It reminds me of how one's thoughts and experiences and wants to move forward can be shared outside of oneself. Just like Dr. Ennis. Well, Dr. Ennis didn't grow up on a farm, but Dr. Ennis is a Mississippian to New York. A lot of the women in this book are Mississippians to New York, just like Booker T. Washington, who grew up on a farm in Mississippi. Fannie Lou Hamer also grew up on a farm in Mississippi. I wonder if she had some, from my understanding, agriculture shaped her understanding of life because her family worked on a farm. I wonder if she still held agrarian politics moving forward in her political career. I wonder what Booker T. Washington and Fannie Lou Hamer have in common, both being from Mississippi, both having a background in agriculture, both having an apparatus on the betterment of Black life. Okay, what else? What else? Actually, this is time to wrap it up. I want to point y'all to Substacks. I have one personal essay out, Substacks. I'm all these. What else do I say with an S? Minds. What else do I say with an S? Substacks. There's a bunch. I don't say fishes. My mama got that out of me real fast. It's fish, a school of fish. But there's something else I say with an S that she would probably have my head on a stick for. Anyway, I'm gonna point y'all to my Substack, and I am going to let y'all know that I have a homework assignment on there. I have a personal essay on there. Everything that I do moving forward, writing wise, will be on Substack until I find somewhere else to go. This is the first episode of this. And again, like I said earlier, it's a dry run. The traction has been extremely low this Black History Month project. And I wonder if it's because I'm in such a transitional phase or it's not as interactive on Instagram or what. But I'm reminding myself that I'm not doing this for anybody's approval. I'm not doing this for anybody but me. Learning and understanding how Black history has impacted human history and human life is important to me. It's extremely important to me. My line sister was joking with me the other day. She was gonna make a joke about college, and she looked over at me while we was chilling. And she was like, "Girl, your ass still doing homework." I like homework. I like reading. I like learning. I like to research or study up. I like to study up because the psych people don't play about when you say research. The scientists do not play about when you say research. I like to study up. And so this Black History Month project is probably my most focused studying upping I have ever done in my fucking life. And it's okay that it's not a lot of traction because it is for me. Hopefully, niggas come and they learn and I build a community off of this and whatever else, right? But it's for me at the end of the day. Gots to read. My relationship with my body is the first thing that I have to myself. My relationship with my brain is the first thing that I have to myself. And everything that I have interacted with so far, as far as understanding how we can obtain the betterment of Black life, is you got to undo what you have heard and learned about the brain and the body. The brain and the body was always weaponized against me since the moment we stepped here. The brain and the body is still trying to be weaponized against me as a woman, as a Black person, as a person existing in 2026. I got to use my brain and my body. It's the last things that I can call mine. I got to make sure that shit up to tip top shape because I'm that bitch. And so why would I not make sure everything is up to tip top shape? I don't know how to feel about any of this just yet. I don't even know if I'm going to like this episode after I'm done filming, but I've been on a roll for an hour. I think I'm just going to cut it, cut it, cut it. Me, I'm wearing these headphones so I can play music. Not a lick of music was played. I'm about to go back to it though. I ain't about Josephine. We gonna add. Shout out to July Drama. Speaking of July Drama, I went to my first Nigerian wedding over the weekend, over Valentine's weekend, and it was so cool. And there was this specific moment where I got to spray money on the bride, and my whole brain like rewired when it came to money and celebration and community. Now, I don't know these people. They cool, but I don't know these people like that. I was a plus one, and I was an observer. I was a guest in a culture's home. I was a guest in a culture's home. So I was really trying to be on my best behavior. I was already critical on myself about like what I was wearing and how I was acting and things like that, because I didn't want to be disrespectful to the elders, and I didn't want to be disrespectful to just the culture in general. I realized that like as a Black American, while I still suffer through certain things, I'm still American, and I still have some ignorances about myself that I really want to work through before I start my niggas around the world tour. But no, that I really want to work through when I'm engaging with other cultures, especially because I'm dating somebody from a different culture and I'm finding myself in more circles around Black people who aren't Black American, and how that reshapes how I observe Blackness. Anyway, while I was, I mean, probably over aware of everything that what I'm doing and happening at this wedding, there was this moment of bliss where I was spraying money on the bride and the music's going and everybody's cheering. And literally as each dollar peels away, because I'm giving the dollars on beat now. It's me. And I listen to Afro beats like a motherfucker. So I know the songs too. Some of the songs. But the song that was playing, I knew how to move to it. So I'm spreading the money like I'm spreading the money at a rhythm that is allowing me to think about what I'm doing as I'm doing it. And while I'm thinking, I'm like, wow, money is for sharing. Wow. Money is a resource. Wow. Celebrating. Wow. Look at these people giving freely. Wow. Look at the ability to give and how fun it is. Wow. Wow. Everybody's beautiful. Everybody's dancing. Everybody's happy. I feel good doing this right now. I don't feel stingy. I don't feel like, oh my God, it's leaving my pockets. No, granted, it wasn't my money in the first place. Nonetheless, I'm still like, I'm not counting how this is leaving me. I am so aware of how I am giving. And that felt so, so, so good. And then I ate good. And I did a bunch of other good things. And yeah, it was a good weekend. It was a good weekend. But like that made me, this was Saturday. It's Wednesday. I'm still thinking about that. Me, a physical thing like money in a physical, it was just cool. It was cool. And I hope that it allows me to continue to work on my relationship with money. I have a very tricky relationship with money. And I want more glimpses of that where I am able to actually sit and think about what money means to me and what position it plays and all that good shit. Anyway, let me get off that rant and let you guys go. Thank you for coming to the first episode of FernGulli Fae TV. CEG Uncut.